What's going on, y'all? I'm back here with another video today, and I'm going to be talking about something that makes or breaks a player's basketball career, and that is their relationship with their coaches. Something that you hear all the time these days with players is that they just didn't have the right coach, or that their coach was tripping, or whatever other slang term you hear, basically saying that their coach either ruined the sport for them or didn't treat them right, or just things did not work out with their coach. So my video today is going to be just touching on things that I think you can do as a player to better your odds of your coach giving you the best hand possible. Before I even say anything about coaches' decisions or really any way that a coach might treat you as a player, I first just want to say I've played under a lot of coaches through all the years of basketball that I've played. And personally, I have the utmost respect for every coach I play for, because at the end of the day, their job is a really, really difficult job, even if it may not seem like it, because they're having to pick between 10 to 12 guys to put on the team at first. And then on top of that, they have to make the decision of who's going to play the most. That is something that it doesn't matter what level you are at, people are going to fight over playing time. Not everybody is going to be able to play 40 minutes a game. As much as people might want it to be like that, I'm sure every coach wants it to be like that. But in order to win the basketball game, that just is not a realistic thing. So as a player who might be struggling with understanding their coach's decisions, or who is frustrated with their coach's decisions regarding their playing time or how they're treated in practice, just remember that your coach is trying. Their job is really hard. You are not the center of the team. There is 12 other people who are having just as many questions as you are. That being said, coaches are still the people who have control over your basketball career at really any stage of your life. So it's important that you learn to gain their trust so that they can be a tool for you and not a tool against you, because a coach can definitely be either of those depending on how you treat them as a player and what you do to either gain or lose their trust. Now, if you're a college guy and you're watching this video, I feel like at this point you need to know your coach is your coach, man. Do your job, do what you're told, play your role. And if you know what your job is and you play your role right, you're gonna play and you're gonna get treated pretty decently. But you can't be unrealistic with your expectations as a player for that coach, which means if your coach tells you what he wants your job to be, do your job. Don't try to flip the script. You can try to flip the script as much as you want in practice, but I promise you, that's all you will ever be. Like, you will never see the floor in a game because you didn't do your job as a player. You didn't show that you were able to do your job. So why would your coach put you out there when you specifically were not doing your job? You were kind of asking for it. And if you don't like your job or your role on that team as a college player, I think that is when you really need to either have a sit-down conversation with your coach and talk about how you feel like you should be playing, and he's probably going to disagree with you on that. And then at that point, you need to sit down with him and see what your best option is to transfer or find a fit that is going to be where you want to be. And if you're just upfront and honest that you are looking to transfer, most of the time your coach is going to want to help you out, especially if you've gained his trust or if he likes you as a person. He's going to be more open to helping you transfer out of there. That way he has an open roster spot to fill as well, and you are able to find a spot that you're happy at. Moving on from college coaches, I want to talk about the coaches for the younger players. So this is anywhere from middle school to high school. Your coach is your biggest tool. And as a younger recruit, you have the opportunity to see a lot of different coaches between AAU and high school basketball. So you as a player, no matter who your coach is, need to do everything possible to get on your coach's good side. Whatever that might take, whatever you have to do, however you have to play, do it. Get your coach to trust you, get your coach to respect you, and get your coach to care about your interest. Because if you pick the right coach, they're going to be very, very helpful in your career. Now, let me jump back for just a second. As a player, you need to pick the right coach. And I have two things that I think are the most important thing as a younger player that you need to see in a coach. And the first one is, are they going to make you better as an individual basketball player? Because if you're 13 or 14 years old watching this right now, your ceiling is high. You have a lot of room to improve. But if you go to the wrong coach, they're never going to get you there. And a trainer might help with that, but a trainer is not going to be the one that's going to put you in those situations to score in the game or to succeed in a game even. They can only help you with your individual skills. Or if you have a coach that knows your individual skills because you've worked out with him a bunch and they know where to put you in a game to make you look the best as possible, that is going to help you showcase your talents as an athlete a lot more than a coach that just cares about a team dynamic. Because the team's important at a younger age, but a whole team is not going to go to one college program. You're going to be divided. You're going to be split up. So for the time being, when you're younger, especially during the summer, I feel like your individual game has to be the absolute highest priority. Along with being able to develop you well as a player, the coach you pick, you need to know if they have connections or not. And I'm not talking connections to high schools. I am talking connections to recruiters, coaches, admissions programs, schools, because that's going to be huge. A coach that cares about winning during an AAU season, you don't want to go to them. You don't, because they're not going to get you recruited. You're going to win every local tournament you go to. You might go to one or two out-of-state tournaments and face some adversity. And your team might do really well, and you might learn some good team practices, but you're never going to get recruited because your coach is not actively looking to sell you as a recruit. You don't normally have a problem finding these type of guys if you are looking at legit AAU programs, because most of the time they'll have the list of guys that they've gotten put at schools in their bio, and it's usually a pretty decent list. But on top of that, this is where gaining the coach's trust is super, super important, because you have to make sure that they're willing to market you as a player. Because your coach might have gotten somebody else to college because they felt they were good enough to go and play college. But if they don't feel that you are good enough to be a college level recruit, they are not going to help you find somewhere to go. The way you can find out if your coach is willing to help recruit for you is you ask him, hey, if you were a college coach right now, what would I have to do to be recruited to your college program? Because remember, as a college coach, you have a pool of 18 to 28-year-olds to pick from right now with the transfer portal. So it's not just high schoolers you're looking at. You are looking at a whole palette of people that you're having to compete against. And if your coach says to you, honestly, I don't think I could recruit you to play at that level because I don't think you're prepared enough to play there, then you either, one, need to find a new coach because he's not willing to support you just in that moment, or two, you need to start building a relationship with him where you're asking him, what do I need to do to get recruited at that level? And once you have met those standards, I promise your coach is going to start doing a lot of things for you. They're going to open some doors for you. And that's all it's about. It's just getting some doors open. These college coaches are receiving thousands of emails every day from players all across the country, some even from other countries. And what's going to make those emails stand out, what's going to make your emails stand out, is if you have a coach that's vouching for you. Because players email coaches all the time. Their parents email coaches all the time. But it's not very often that you have a coach who knows what he's doing, and he either gets in contact with somebody who knows that college coach personally, or he just contacts them themselves and is like, hey, I got a player here. I know your system. I know your program. You're going to be very interested in this guy. You need to come take a look at him. Most of the time, that coach is going to go and look, compared to just seeing an email from a player or their parents, and it's just some email talking about how their son would be a great fit for their program. And they haven't even really looked into the program because they don't know the coach. They don't know anything about the program other than it has basketball and they want their son to play for it. Now, let's say that as a player, you've tried everything you can to gain your coach's trust. You tried to openly communicate with him and he's turned you down. You've tried to work your hardest in practice and you haven't seen any changes or any results from that other than your coach is still not giving you a fair shot. Welcome to life. Life is not fair. Basketball is a lot like life. It is just not fair sometimes. Sometimes situations just happen like that. And at that point, I just got to tell you, that's how it's going to be at college too. Sometimes you might see something that seems unfair to you, and you kind of just got to realize that's your job. You're there to do your job as a player. Whether that job is to play 40 minutes a game and take as many shots as you want and have no repercussions for that, or to play 10 minutes a game and you take 1 to 2 shots a game while you try to get other people open on your team. And then the rest of it is just being a good teammate on the bench and being enthusiastic about it. At any level, it's hard. It's really hard. I've been through it myself. But is it worth it? Personally, I think so. If you love basketball, it'll be worth it. Because at the end of the day, no matter what level you're at, you're playing a game that's exactly that. It's a game. You get to go home. You get to do other things in your life other than just play basketball. And as a basketball player, it's up to you to kind of just make the best of the worst situation. Like I said, if your coach or any of the coaches that you've looked into are all bad options, pick the best of the worst option. Work your hardest, and if you're really, really diligent, it might still work out for you, because good players, even if they're not being recognized, somehow, some way, usually find their way to a higher level if they really, really are dedicated. And that dedication is not easy whatsoever, especially if you make it to the college level and you're having to do that. Trust me, man, oh man, there were some days practice seemed like the last place I wanted to be, especially when I was a younger guy and I was still getting adjusted to the college system. I did not want to be out there, but I stayed dedicated. I went anyways, even though I didn't want to. And that's life, that's work. It's a good practice to teach. That's why you see a lot of these athletes, when they get into a job, they're so good at being able to function as a crew member or an employee or as a teammate, because they're used to having to work in a team their whole life. Unless you played an individual sport, and then of course it's a little different. But for the people who play team sports, it's really, really helpful, honestly. Anyways, that's just about going to do it for this video. Just remember, your coach is trying. Your coach has 12, 13 other guys that they're trying to look after as well. So they're trying their hardest, and it really is a hard job for them. And also remember, the best way to gain trust as a player with your coach is to openly communicate with them and just work as hard as you can. Do everything in your power that you can to be the best player you can be. And in that, you'll find satisfaction through the work. Even if you aren't seeing rewards for it, just knowing that you are achieving the best form of yourself as a player. It will feel good if you really, really love the game. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Peace.